So, how to choose to live? It is probably one of the most powerful questions that I think we can ask ourselves every single moment. Because I stand here as someone who has lived the impossible. I have seen it transform from the impossible into the I'm possible. And furthermore, I've seen it not simply happen in my own life, but now I've seen it happen for hundreds of clients that I work with. But without fail, it starts in that inner game. Do you have to move on and apply some really, pardon my French, but kick-ass outer game stuff? Absolutely. But you try and reverse this, you leave your destiny to those kick-ass outer game things. More often than not, what I see is someone who comes to me who in their 20s thought that they knew exactly what their life would look like 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. And now they've looked in the mirror and they've either realized I'm not at all where I thought I would be, or maybe even worse, I'm exactly where I thought I would be. I just don't feel like I thought I would feel when I got here. I don't know what to do next. Start looking at your inner game. So I spend weeks with my clients, although I will tell you that the first transformation, because we start in the inner game, that happens within 60 minutes, 60. Has anyone ever seen those old-fashioned jukeboxes? There are two ways that you really can hear the music from the jukebox. You either walk up, you put your money in, and it plays whatever you want to play, or you go sit in your booth, and the jukebox is set so that you will never hear silence. If you're not telling it what to play, it's going to play something for you. So how many think that some of the songs that it's going to play you're actually going to like? Of course, yeah. Some of them you're probably going to be like, right? And then some of them you're going to be like, oh my gosh, how did that song get in that jukebox? I hate that song. The jukebox, surprisingly enough, does not come in to ask you what you want to hear. So now just a slight switch. How many of you have ever had at least one song ever stuck in your mind? Anyone? Ever? Is it fair to say that every now and then one of those songs that got stuck in there you don't even like? Right? You're like, how on earth did that get there? So let me ask you now, when that song gets stuck in your mind, how many of you put your hands to your head and go running to your significant other and go, oh my God, I'm being taken over by the ghost of Justin Bieber? No? Clearly, we all have gotten used to the fact that our mind will deliver these really obnoxious songs that we absolutely do not want to hear, but we don't have to panic, right? We know that if we just go on and we think about something else, it will eventually go away. Plus, we can also be fairly secure that if we're facing some big crisis, that's not the time when Justin Bieber comes popping into our heads, right? Is it fair to say that our minds every now and then seem to behave like a jukebox? Why on earth, if our mind will do that, why on earth would we believe that when we aren't thinking anything, our mind only picks songs? Isn't it far more realistic to believe that our mind is always doing that? When we're not deliberately telling it to think a thought, it goes back to a record from the past that we've heard over and over again, and it just grabs one and pops it in front of us. Except there's no melody, so we don't realize that it's just Justin Bieber and we shouldn't be paying attention to it. That, my friends, is how we end up going down a rabbit hole. So that is a huge reason why we need to learn how to pay attention to what we are focusing on and what we are making that mean.